What's up guys, it's Dan here from Bloom Corp. I'm going to give a quick rumour mill of the latest news about the Xbox 720 and the PlayStation 4. Now I'm going to give you a quick prediction of what I think is going to be in the consoles and how I feel about what's going to be in them and what we're going to do with them. So I'm going to start quickly, and it's talking about the GPU inside of the Xbox 720. Rumours say that the GPU inside of it will be the AMD HD 6670, which is a good piece of technology, but at the moment, I would say if it comes into a console which is meant to be for around 5 years' time, it might slow down in the future. Now, the console is expected to support DirectX 11, 3D, 1080p, and a multi-display output, which is commendable. I would like to have 4 screens around me and get immersed inside a game, so let's see how that goes forth. Now, it's meant to be 10 times more powerful than the current model. However, if you put that into relation about the new consoles that are coming out, we're expected to see that's only about 20% more powerful than the Nintendo Wii U, which in my eyes for a hardcore gaming console might actually be quite slow, but we'll see when it comes out. I'm going to say it's going to be around E3 this year, so we might find out there. Now, am I happy about this as a future console from the information that I've given out? Yeah, it's an alright console. I'm not going to get really excited about it. I'll probably buy it, give it a go. But it does get very interesting. Now, recently, OnLive, which is a OnLive subscription, you go on the internet, all the graphics are rendered online, and then they stream to the OnLive server, which you basically play. Now, there's rumours that that could work for Sony and Microsoft, and I think it would be very interesting if this rumour came true, and Microsoft and Sony did incorporate it into their online play. I mean, the graphics are rendered there, and then they bring forth onto the console themselves, and this way that you won't get lagging, you won't get people getting an advantage over others. Bear in mind their internet signal might be slow, it might just cut them off fully, which is obviously a pro and a con. Now, we're just going to move on because we don't really know much about that. Microsoft has released the information they don't like Blu-rays, so they won't be incorporating that into the disc, I would not imagine. They're going to use the old-fashioned several disc format, which I don't agree with because when it came down to Final Fantasy, it was over about 4 discs, I believe. Now, if you compare that to PS3, I believe it was 1 or 2 discs at most. I mean, Blu-ray's got such a high capability, and if you think about it, Microsoft came out with the comments that they are the only console to have a streaming service for online content. Yes, that's brilliant, but not everyone has a great internet service, so I think that's a bit of a letdown from Microsoft personally, but we're going to move on. Now, my next section is, what will they use for the controller? Personally, I think they might use the Kinect. The Kinect is going to be something they find quite active on the controller, and they want to get people in like where they can like move things around. I believe in Rainbow Six, if you do that at some point, the gun's meant to split apart and you can customise the guns by dragging things in. Amazing, right? But what happens if your room isn't large enough? They're going to have to keep the same control, but are they going to redesign it like they did for the Xbox 360, or are they going to keep it the same? I think maybe redesign, but we'll see in the future. It's expected to release on fall 2013, and pinpoint accuracy has said it's going to be around October, November. I'm quite excited to see when it gets released, so let's stay by and see what the rumours come up in the future. But rumour mill for this Xbox 720 says fall 2013. What do you think about? Comment down below, tell me what you think. Now, keeping on to the fast pace, we're going to move on to the Sony PlayStation 4. Now, there's going to be a lot less rumours about this, so I'm going to keep this quite snappy. Sony spent $3 billion worth of money to research into cell processing power, and basically it splits all the code down and it buffers it up at the last go. Now, I believe this is actually way forwards. They haven't maxed out on the PlayStation 3, so I believe personally that they're going to stick with it. However, there are rumours around at the moment saying that we might go to the ARM Denver project, which goes anything from a normal computer to a supercomputer. I'm going to put the details up in the right there, so if you just want to click on that box in the top corner, and we'll take you to that website there. However, if you want to hop onto, they have just bought a factory from Toshiba for $400 million. That was last year, so I believe they're probably going to stick with the cell processing, bearing in mind they own a factory and they can crack them out at a really quick rate. We're going to move on to the controller. Now, I had a quick hands-on with the PlayStation Vita the other day, and basically the interaction with the PlayStation 3 was quite brilliant. You could use it on the console as a handheld itself, so you could play here and you'd be on the screen in front and you could interact with it. Now, the Vita, I think, is going to have a big role in the new PlayStation 4 when it does get released. A bit like the Nintendo and the U remote itself has a screen in it. I think you can have the real estate on the screen there, and you can have your remote here, which has got like a map on it, for example. Now, I think that would be quite interesting. Obviously, I say it's going to be quite interesting because I don't know how Sony are going to incorporate it, but the fact that they're using it with the PlayStation 3, I would expect it's going to be used with the PlayStation 4. Moving on to the network, there has been lots of criticism about Sony's network, but they did update it to somewhat try and compete with Xbox Live where you have to pay for it. I believe they're going to make a better network and they're going to release it with the PlayStation 4. Logic says you need to compete with Xbox on all grounds, so I would imagine they're going to have Netflix and they're going to stream much better. They're going to try and compete with Xbox on most of the services that Xbox show, like they have Sky and Xbox. Why not bring it up to PS3? Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit of incorporate everything into it. And rumours suggest that the Sony PlayStation 4 will appear in 2014. Personally, I think they're going to release it around the same time as the Xbox 720. You don't want to let your competitor have too much of a head start, and the Wii U isn't hardcore gaming. The Wii U is family gaming, so they're not too fussed about that. I'm going to say about October, November again, like for the 720, and I'm going to say it's going to have a debut this year at E3, as the manufacturer of the chips has already gone into process, supposedly. So if we take this all into account, a big massive rumour roundup here. The Xbox 720 meant to fall in 2013, October, November. I'm going to say PlayStation 4, October, November of 2013. Both aim for the Christmas period. Both aim for good console. What do you think about it? Comment down below. Tell us what you think about it. If you click this link right here, or more down here, more like. If you click down here, that'll subscribe to our channel. That really does help us out. Like the video if you did think this helped. Obviously, check out the video up there for our next one and up there for our previous one. And thanks for watching. Daniel from Bloomcorp. This was a really speedy rumour mill of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox 720. In a bit.